Okay, guys, thanks very much. I'm really nervous, just so you know. Plus, the most important person who was supposed to be here tonight, who was the butt of one of my jokes, hasn't turned up. What? Voice?
I'm here.
You're here? Are you really here? I can't see you. Hey, Ian, you here? No, she's lying. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So the whole gig is ruined. The only thing the only thing that's half decent is at least Steve's little clock of doom isn't like ticking down over there. So when I miss out most of my gig or have to stop, 'cause I can't remember it. Who cares? Right, okay. So what am I doing here? God knows. But no, what am I doing here? Well, surely that's obvious. Hasn't everybody wanted to come up, stand on a little stage in a dimly lit pub basement in the only bit of King's Cross hasn't been gentrified? Just so that they can say at the end of the gig, after they've done a few jokes, thank you, I've been Cath Hassell, you've been brilliant. That's what I'm doing here. Only I said it now in case you've been rubbish and I can't say it at the end. So, yeah, oh that, what am I doing here? Yeah, okay, because despite what it says on the tin, despite what Steve's been saying all night, I am not an engineer. No. I am a plumber. Okay? But I didn't think that would be a problem way back. I went to one of Steve's all you need to know about stand-up workshops, which was a whole 2 hours long. And I learned three really useful things. Number one, the B4186 is the funniest road in comedy. Number two, there is something called the rule of threes. Although I've said it number two. There is something called the rule of threes. And it is that Superman, Batman and Robin isn't funny. But Superman, Batman and a Robin is funny. Thank you, Steve. That was your joke. And what was the other thing I learned? It's all in the detail. Everything is in the detail for comedic purposes. Okay. Then, a couple of weeks after that, I came to a gig. This is where it's all going to go a bit pear-shaped. Because what I found out is that you, that is engineers, hate plumbers. How did I find that out? Because Hay-In, the person who is not here tonight, spent her whole gig trashing the noble art of plumbing. Why? Why did she do that? Why do you hate plumbers? I have loads in common with engineers. I love numbers. I'm really nerdy. I have no ideas what the point of architects are. And I'm quite socially inadequate. Surely a match made in heaven. But oh no. There she was, roared on by the 99% engineering audience, trashing the noble art of plumbing. Why? Because in a vain but ultimately doomed, a futile and ultimately doomed attempt to circumnavigate the British class system, some of us call ourselves heating engineers. Okay, like, I've never done that, right? The reason being is because I studied class as in the 1980s lesbian feminist movement, and you cannot escape your class background when you do that. I know some people are laughing, but really the only people who would have got that is like Suez, who was around at that time. Okay. Or maybe Emma's dad. But seriously, I've always called myself a plumber because the word plumber comes from the Latin word for lead, which is plumbum. Yeah? Seriously, okay? How cool is that? We are named after a Latin word and the word has bum in it. So, not sure where I am now in my gig, but anyway, oh yeah. So, but what I realised was that I can't tell any of my plumbing anecdotes now. So, I can't stand up on stage here and tell you about the time when I was chatting to Princess Anne about squatting and leg locks, or as I like to call them, plum bum locks, and she lost the will to live. Not that I noticed it at the time, that lapse in royal protocol, because I was too busy over HRH's right-hand shoulder looking at my line manager who was doing this. No, can't tell you that. Can't tell you about the time I swam into a flotilla of poo in the Mediterranean and started splashing and screaming. Whereas now, if I did it, I would just carry on breaststroking through it serenely on, because now I'm a plumber, then I wasn't. Nor can I tell you about the time when I collapsed, unconscious, naked, slumped in front of my fridge on my canal boat. But just before that happened, and precisely because I am a plumber, I realised that we were being carbon monoxide poisoning, thus saving not just my own life, but my partner's life as well. You see, near death and nudity, but I can't tell that one. Nor any chance of you wondering if I'm going to get self-deprecating and self-defecating messed up while I'm on stage. Because I have got to think of something unplumbery, something that you engineers know about, something like mass and gravity. Oh, mass. Okay, mass. Blue whales, they're quite massive. Go with blue whales. And falling through the air at 9.81 metres a second. Oh, I do have something. Parachuting in Wales. Great. That's Wales, the country, obviously. Parachuting in Wales in a modern retake of the Jonah story would be too weird. So, the only problem with this, if only Hayin was in here and we could all boo her, is that this story is back in the mists of time. And I think some of the DL might be lost, and of course what we all know is DL is key in comedy. But, Hayin, wherever you are, you only have yourself to blame, and we will all blame you when this gag falls flat. So, there I was, 10,000 feet up in the air, an opening of a plane, Wales spread below me, with a sense of impending doom permeating every core of my being. Oh wait, I need to go back a bit. Sorry. Okay. When I was about 10, I discovered that adults wanted to know what you were going to be when you grew up. And I didn't really know what I wanted to be. So I did a bit of thinking and I came up with I wanted to be a fireman, sick, because it was back in the whenever. I'd like to be a fireman, and the reason being, because I was really into Batman and A. Robin. Hey, yes. And I liked the way they got down into the Batcave. And B, a parachutist, just because. Those very self-same adults now rubbished me, my career choices with, you can't be a fireman because you're a girl, you can't be a parachutist because you're a girl, and anyway, it's not a job. But I grew up to be a lesbian and a plumber, so in my mind at least I won that round. Fast forward a few years, I'm at Swansea University, not eating the cockles on the beach. Because, as plumbers, we know all about long sea outfalls, raw sewage and incoming tides. But what did happen is I saw a badly typewritten note stuck up on the notice board about learning to parachute in a weekend, and my career trajectory was back on track. Okay, this was back in the day, but we still had a bit of health and safety going on. So we went through a very rigorous training regime, as I will now demonstrate. Okay? We did this hundreds of times. 1,000 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Look up, check canopy, malfunction! That weird little gesture there is, after the malfunction, ripping open and throwing out the little thing that's going to save your life. The reserve chute, aka this puny little drag parachute, that as long as it doesn't get trapped in your legs, or your malfunctioning main parachute is going to save your life, so you're going to have to cope with the at minimum 2 broken legs that you're going to suffer. We also spent quite a lot of time with our arms in the air, jumping off a hay bale and falling gently to one side. So there I was, back up, that sense of impending doom enveloping me, pondering what to do next. To be honest, I just wanted to get back in the fuselage of that plane. But I had a point to prove, because sitting next to me was the ex-sergeant major who'd spent the last 2 days shouting at us that women shouldn't even be parachutists, and who was now yelling, "Get back in the plane, you snivelling little idiot, or jump and let real men take your place." Oh, the 70s, what an era. So I jumped, and the training kicked in, and I went, 1,000! And then time stood still, as I realised that if I hit the ground flat like this, I would die. But if I rolled into a little ball, when I hit the ground, I would bounce and thus live. Genius. So I started, that's what I did. Unfortunately, what I hadn't factored in is as I did that, I started tumbling through the air. So when the static line engaged, ripped open my main parachute, I was upside down, I was jerked around up in the air. Now I'm supposed to go look up, check parachute. This is what happened. I suddenly realised, oh, I'm not dead, I'm not dead. Look up, check canopy, check canopy. Now, I can't look up and check the canopy because behind me is all the strings are now all ripped together. So now I had to do what's called the fuck manoeuvre, which is basically this. And I cleared them and I looked up and there it was, a life-saving semicircle of silk. So now was my time to luxuriate in the views and the solitude and float safely down to earth. Only there was a bit of a problem. First of all, I was spinning round and round in a circle. Secondly, I was shaking uncontrollably. So not only was this arm shaking, both my legs were shaking, and I had nothing to hold on to. So I'm just like jerking around, and then I remember the hazards. Oh my God, the hazards. I am supposed to be controlling this parachute away from the hazards. But I couldn't see anything because I'm like spinning round and round and round. I can't see the bloody hazards. And then I remember, oh, pull on the dangly things. See what I mean about lack of detail? So I dragged on one of the dangly things, and all it did was just spin me around faster. So I dragged on the other dangly thing. Oh, well, yeah, okay, that stopped me spinning that way, but you've guessed it, I started just spinning round the other way. And my friends, that is how I just went down, yeah? Spinning round and round with all those hazards just coming in and out of my peripheral vision, around my jerking legs. The little country road that we'd been coming along, now looking like the M1 full of agricultural machinery and tanks on manoeuvres. The myriad army base buildings, all with their little "come and crash through me" asbestos roofs. The planes on the runway, the sewage treatment plant, the river by the sewage treatment plant, all just there waiting to get me, and all the while knowing that I now no longer had a career left because I obviously was not cut out to be a parachutist. But at least it has a bit of a happy ending. Because just before I landed safely in a field, just before I missed all the hazards, just before I executed a perfect little landing and flop to the side, thus keeping intact all that bones in my ankles, just before the parachute fluttered down onto my head and enveloped me in a warm and comforting darkness, I saw a sign. You know what that sign said? Yep, the B4186. And across it, someone had scrawled Leicester City Premier League. Oh no, sorry, that's another gig. The B4186. And across it, someone had scrawled Comedy Gold.